Alright, so here's a new video that I found on the YouTube. Russia strikes Poland.
Breaking news, Russian missiles have struck Poland this morning in a concerning new development in the war in Ukraine. Let's go live to 7 News Europe correspondent Sarah Greenhalgh. Sarah, with Poland being a member of NATO, this could have major implications because NATO says they come to protect their own, don't they?
That's exactly right, Koshi. Good morning. So Article 5 states that essentially an attack on one NATO member is an attack on all members. And given that Poland is one of the 30 member states of this military alliance, as you correctly said before, the world is basically holding its breath now to see how NATO will respond. This is really the alliance's first big test, given that the West has shown no appetite so far for this war in Ukraine to extend beyond Ukraine's borders. But today, according to a senior US official, 2 Russian missiles have hit a grain dryer, a farm on the Polish side of the Polish-Ukrainian border, killing 2 people. Again, there's still a lot of details coming through at this stage. The Polish Prime Minister is said to have convened an urgent security meeting that is happening right now. We know that the G20 leaders, a lot of those leaders also in NATO, are currently all together in Bali. So we will be hearing a lot more. But this is a really major test. It's also unclear whether this was deliberate or an accident. A lot of people.
So this video was posted a day ago, and as soon as I heard about this stuff, I was like, why would Russia strike Poland? Why? It would only hurt them. Who would benefit from Russia striking Ukraine? Or Poland, I should say. Well, Ukraine would benefit. 1, it keeps the Russia-Ukrainian war relative in the news. And 2, it tugs on people's heartstrings. More support, etc. Money. And a few hours later, this video comes out.
The president of Poland says there's no indication at this point that a missile strike that killed 2 people near the Ukrainian border was deliberate. The president says it was more than likely a Ukrainian air defense missile. NATO's Secretary General Jens Stoltenberg made a similar statement today. He says Ukraine likely launched the Soviet-era projectile itself as it was trying to fend off a Russian assault yesterday.
An investigation into this incident is ongoing, and we need to await its outcome. But we have no indication that this was the result of a deliberate attack. And we have no indication that Russia is preparing offensive military actions against NATO.
And speaking on the sidelines of the G20 summit in Indonesia, Prime Minister Trudeau says there must be an investigation into exactly what happened in Poland, but that ultimately Russia bears the blame for starting the conflict in Ukraine to begin with.
The important thing is to allow the investigations to go forward and find out exactly what happened, but there is no question that this is all because and linked to the fact that Russia is continuing to escalate its war on civilians, its illegal, unjustifiable war against Ukraine.
Trudeau also announced he will extend Canada's training mission of Ukrainian soldiers until the end of next year. The Canadians have been training Ukraine.
And when did this video come out? 18 hours ago. Wow, that was quick. So it goes from Russia strikes Poland, oh my god, to missile strike was probably launched by Ukraine. Citing the fact that they're Soviet-era missiles, air defense, and that they were fending off a Russian missile attack or something. Isn't that a little far off? Because there's Ukraine and then there's Russia, and Poland's all the way on the other side of Ukraine, right? So that's a pretty big mistake. I guess it's a case of maybe the news reporter should have waited a little while for all the facts before they started reporting on stuff. And as for Trudeau blaming Russia for the war, I could rehash the biolabs. I could bring up the Western Ukrainians massacring the Eastern Ukrainians, but I'll just bring up the neo-Nazis. that Russia's trying to denazify. A reason I bring up the neo-Nazis, Trudeau labeled the trucker convoy neo-Nazis when a few of them were waving Nazi flags. Those could have been trucker supporters, I'll say that. It could have also been lefties. They didn't like the trucker convoy, so they just buy a rag and put it on a stick. Rag being the Nazi flag. Then Trudeau went on a whole spiel talking about how neo-Nazis are hate-filled and that they have no place in Canada. Okay, so what about the Azov Battalion? Alright, that's it for my little ramble. Take care.